Welcome back to the Metabolic Compass podcast, where we recalibrate your biology and rediscover your direction. I'm your host, Brandon Soika, and today we're going to tackle one of the most misunderstood systems in human health, the immune system. If you've ever been told your immune system is overreacting, this episode is for you. Whether you deal with autoimmunity, constant colds, histamine overload, or just feel inflamed all the time, what if the problem isn't that your immune system is broken, but that it's overloaded and trying its best? We'll break down why immune dysfunction isn't just about too much inflammation, but often miscommunication across your entire biological network, especially in the gut, liver, and mitochondria. And by the way, if you haven't taken the Compass Drift quiz, now is the time. It's the fastest way to figure out which domain, nurture, energize, strengthen, or withdraw, is currently drifting in your biology. And immune dysfunction can show up in all of them. Take the quiz for free at themetabolicccompass.com/quiz. Now let's dig into why your immune system may be misfiring and what to do about it. We often hear people say they want to calm down their immune system, as if a quiet immune system is the goal. But here's the truth. Your immune system wasn't built to be calm. It was built to be dynamic, responsive, and most importantly, intelligent. It's not a simple on-off switch. It's more like a highly trained surveillance system, scanning every moment for signs of danger, imbalance, or repair needs. And when it's working well, it doesn't just defend, it coordinates. The immune system communicates with your gut lining, liver, nervous system, and even your mitochondria. It's involved in cleaning up damaged cells, removing toxins, repairing tissues, and regulating your response to food, stress, sleep, and infection. That means if the system is reacting strongly, it's usually because it needs to. So let's reframe something critical. When people talk about their immune system overreacting, they're usually describing an immune system that's been overstimulated, confused, or exhausted, not inherently broken. Let's take a few examples. Think about autoimmunity. From the outside, it looks like the immune system is attacking the body. But what's actually happening? The immune system has lost its ability to recognize self versus non-self. That's not just aggression, it's confusion. And that confusion often begins in the gut or liver, where antigens and inflammatory signals go unchecked. Or take allergies and histamine intolerance. Most people think their body is just too sensitive. But what's really going on? The immune system is hypervigilant, likely because the terrain it's monitoring feels unstable. It's reacting to foods, pollens, or triggers that wouldn't normally be dangerous. This is often a failure of immune tolerance, which is regulated by butyrate, Treg cells, and the gut-liver axis. And what about people who feel constantly inflamed, achy, foggy, tired, even though they don't have a diagnosis? Their immune system is likely a low-grade activation mode all the time, stuck in a loop. But it's doing what it's been signaled to do, stay alert. The real problem isn't that your immune system is too strong, it's that it's misguided. It's chasing false alarms, or worse, getting no clear signal at all. This is why most approaches to immune health fall flat. We think in terms of boosting or suppressing when we should be thinking about modulating, restoring clarity, giving the system the right inputs so it can respond accurately. Because here's what you need to know. Your immune system doesn't just go rogue out of nowhere. It's responding to upstream confusion, whether from leaky gut, mitochondrial distress, circadian disruption, or nervous system burnout. That's why inside the Metabolic Compass framework, we don't treat the immune system as a silo. We look at how it's showing up inside each drift domain. In Nurture, the immune system gets overwhelmed by gut dysfunction and microbiome imbalance. In Energize, it gets triggered by oxidative stress and redox imbalance. In Withdraw, it misfires when cellular signals and cleanup mechanisms break down. So if you're dealing with immune symptoms, whether it's inflammation, allergies, autoimmunity, or constant fatigue, start by asking which domain is drifting first. The Compass Drift Quiz can help you map exactly where your immune system is receiving the wrong signals and where to start resetting your biology. In the next segment, we'll dive into what immune overload actually feels like in real life, so you can recognize the signals before they spiral into something more serious. Let's talk about what immune overload actually feels like, not in lab markers or textbook description, but in real life. Because for most people, immune dysfunction isn't announced by a single diagnosis. It whispers, it lingers. It shows up as patterns we dismiss until they become impossible to ignore. It might look like this. You catch every cold going around, not just once a year, but every couple of months. And when you do get sick, recovery takes forever. You're still exhausted 2 weeks after the fever breaks. The infection is gone, but you feel like your body is stuck in low power mode. Or maybe your immune system isn't crashing, it's overreacting. You start noticing odd food reactions. Meals that used to sit fine now leave you bloated, itchy, or flushing. You're suddenly reacting to histamine-rich foods. Your skin breaks out in rashes or hives, or your nose runs after every meal. Even supplements that used to help now feel like they backfire. These aren't allergies in the traditional sense, they're signs of immune intolerance. Your body can no longer differentiate between true threats and everyday inputs. The radar is jammed. Then there's the silent side of immune overload. You wake up groggy even after 8 hours of sleep. Your joints feel stiff, your brain feels foggy, and you find yourself saying things like, "I'm just tired all the time, but everything looks normal in my labs." Or, "I know something is off, but no one can find anything wrong." That's not in your head. That's immune dysregulation hiding beneath the surface. For others, the immune system seems to collapse after stress. Maybe you keep it together through a big deadline, a breakup, or travel. But as soon as it's over, you crash. You get sick, your skin flares, you feel like your whole system short circuits. This isn't a coincidence. It's a sign that your immune system is running on fumes, and every spike in cortisol or inflammation pushes it beyond its threshold. None of these patterns mean your immune system is weak. They mean it's overwhelmed. It's not failing to show up, it's showing up all the time, too much, in the wrong places, at the wrong times. What's driving this? Usually it's feedback loops that have become dysfunctional. When your gut lining is leaky, microbial fragments like LPS sneak into your bloodstream, triggering constant immune alarms. When your mitochondria are distressed, they release DAMPs, damage signals that keep your immune system activated even in the absence of infections. When your circadian rhythm is off, your immune response becomes erratic, making you more vulnerable to viruses and less able to resolve inflammation. And when your nervous system is burned out, your immune system misreads cues as threats. You become reactive to everything and resilient to nothing. This is why immune dysfunction is rarely about a single system gone rogue. It's a coordination failure, a lack of clarity, a body stuck in a loop trying to repair but never getting the clear signal to rest. And when we miss this pattern, when we label it as autoimmune or hypersensitive or just stress, we miss the opportunity to rebuild clarity and resilience from the ground up. So if you're someone who's walking around thinking, "I'm inflamed, but no one can find anything wrong," you're not alone, and you're not imagining it. You're likely caught in an immune feedback loop, one that started with a drift in another system and is now spiraling through everything else. So if what you're feeling isn't immune weakness, but a body caught in a storm of miscommunication, then the real question becomes, what's keeping the storm going? That's what we're digging into next. So if the real problem isn't a weak immune system, but an overwhelmed, misfiring one, then the next question is, why does it stay that way? Why doesn't the inflammation resolve? Why do so many people stay stuck in a cycle of flares, fatigue, and hypersensitivity? To answer that, we have to step back and understand that the immune system doesn't act alone. It's a deeply relational system. It listens for signals from all over the body, especially the gut, liver, nervous system, and mitochondria. When those signals are clear and coordinated, your immune system knows how to respond appropriately. But when those signals get distorted or go silent, the immune system panics. It starts firing on everything, including your own tissues. Let's unpack how this works piece by piece. First, the gut is where the immune system is trained. About 70% of your immune system lives along the intestinal lining, constantly sampling what comes in through your food, microbes, and environment. When the gut is healthy, meaning your mucosal lining is intact, your microbiome is diverse, and your digestion is calm, your immune system learns what's normal and what's not. This is called immune tolerance. But when the gut lining is leaky or inflamed, microbial fragments and undigested proteins start slipping into the bloodstream. The immune system sees this and screams, "Invader!" even when it's something as benign as broccoli or coconut. Next, the liver plays a massive but underappreciated role. It acts like the TSA of your body, screening, detoxifying, and presenting antigens to the immune system so it can make intelligent decisions. If your liver is sluggish, inflamed, or overloaded with toxins, it can't filter properly. That means more immune confusion and more systemic inflammation. Now let's talk about the nervous system, particularly the vagus nerve. This is your main bidirectional communication highway between the brain and the immune system. When the vagus nerve is toned and responsive, it helps your body resolve inflammation. But if you're in sympathetic overdrive, constantly rushing, grinding, or under chronic stress, your vagus nerve goes offline. Your immune system stops getting the all clear signal, and inflammation drags on indefinitely. Finally, we have the mitochondria. These tiny powerhouses do more than make energy. They also act as inflammation sensors. When mitochondria are stressed, either from nutrient depletion, oxidative damage, or metabolic drift, they start releasing distress signals like reactive oxygen species. Normally, this is part of the healing process, but when it's constant, it throws your immune system into chronic alert mode. The inflammation that was supposed to be temporary becomes the new baseline. And here's where it gets really tricky. Once one of these systems drifts, it starts affecting the others. A leaky gut stresses the liver. A burned out nervous system suppresses gut motility and bile flow. Mitochondrial dysfunction leads to poor detox and redox imbalance. It's not just one thing, it's a loop. And your immune system is caught in the middle, trying to make sense of all the noise. Imagine a smoke alarm that keeps going off, even though there's no fire. Not because your house is burning, but because the batteries are dying. The system is misfiring. But instead of replacing the batteries, we keep opening windows, fanning the smoke, or unplugging the alarm. That's what we're doing with anti-inflammatories, immune suppressants, and short-term detoxes. We're not addressing the faulty signal, we're just silencing the alarm. When you feel like your immune system is broken, what's actually happening is that it's responding to broken communication. It's not overreacting for no reason. It's stuck in an unresolved loop, and no one ever taught it how to calm down. Now that we've unpacked how the immune system can get stuck in a reactive loop, often triggered by other drifting systems, the next step is figuring out if this is what's actually happening in your body. Because immune dysfunction has a signature, and if you know how to read it, you'll stop guessing and start getting traction. So how do you know if immune system is at the heart of your health struggles? The truth is, immune dysfunction rarely presents as just one big obvious sign. More often, it's a subtle, swirling mix of fatigue, fog, flares, and frustration. What makes it trickier is that these symptoms often overlap with other domains: gut issues, mitochondrial issues, hormone shifts. That's why we have to become symptom pattern detectives, not just symptom chasers. Here's what to look for. If your systems get noticeably worse after stress, sleep deprivation, or digestive flares, your immune system is likely involved. Think of it like a tripwire that's become overly sensitive. A single bad night's sleep or a minor stressor shouldn't trigger a flare, but when the immune system is dysregulated, even small disturbances can cause outsized responses. Do you catch every cold that goes around and takes longer than the others to bounce back? That's not a sign of bad luck. That's immune sluggishness. Do you have seasonal allergies that seem to be worsening or food sensitivities that have multiplied over time? These are signs that your immune system is having trouble distinguishing friend from foe. It's reacting to harmless inputs because its filter has gone haywire. Now let's talk about autoimmune patterns, things like Hashimoto's, eczema, or rheumatoid-like joint pain. These conditions often get mislabeled as the immune system being too strong, but that's a misunderstanding. What's really happening is confusion. Your immune system isn't attacking you because it's powerful, it's attacking because it's disoriented. It's responding to unclear or constant signals of threat, and the real issue is a failure of coordination, not excessive strength. Another major clue is if you've had chronic infections, things like Epstein-Barr, shingles, or recurring sinus infections. When those linger or keep coming back, it's not because the pathogen is unusually strong. It's because your internal communication systems aren't organizing an effective, appropriate response. This is where the drift quiz becomes incredibly helpful. It's not just about identifying what you feel, it's about identifying where the breakdown began. Because for some people, immune dysfunction is an output, something downstream of gut or mitochondrial disruption. But for others, it's the origin of their cascade. And if you treat it like a side effect when it's actually the source, you'll waste time, money, and energy. So how do we know which way the arrows are pointing? That's what the compass helps you decode. If the drift quiz points you to the nurture domain, you're likely dealing with immune confusion rooted in gut-liver signaling and inflammatory terrain. If it points you to withdraw, the dysfunction may stem from cellular waste accumulation or autophagy breakdown. If it points to energize, there may be redox miscommunication or mitochondrial burnout driving immune chaos. And once you know where you are, the strategy gets clearer. Because if the immune system is the driver, it needs calm, clean signals, not just suppression. It needs restoration, not repression. When it comes to immune system dysfunction, one of the biggest problems isn't just the symptoms, it's the misguided advice people are giving to fix it. We've been conditioned to think that the immune system needs to be either boosted or shut down. You feel inflamed? Suppress it. You feel run down? Stimulate it. But here's the issue. The binary approach doesn't match the complexity of the immune system or the real reason it's struggling in the first place. Let's start with immune stimulants, the kind you'll find in every cold and flu aisle or natural immune booster stack. Elderberry, echinacea, astragalus, medicinal mushrooms. In isolation, these aren't bad tools. But when your immune system is already confused, adding more stimulation is like shouting into an already chaotic room. You're increasing volume when what the system actually needs is clarity. A 2021 paper in Frontiers made this exact point. Overstimulation of an already activated immune system can drive cytokine overexpression, worsening inflammation rather than resolving it. In cases of long COVID, for example, patients who continued taking immune boosters actually experienced a prolongation of symptoms because their bodies couldn't shut the response down. Now, on the other end of the spectrum are suppressants, NSAIDs, corticosteroids, and other immune dampening drugs. These can absolutely have a place in acute care or flare management, but chronically leaning on suppression blocks your body's ability to complete the immune cycle. Inflammation isn't the enemy, unresolved inflammation is. And when you block the signal without helping your body resolve it, you push dysfunction deeper into the system. The body doesn't forget what it wasn't allowed to finish. You may get temporary relief, but the underlying confusion stays unresolved. This is part of why autoimmune flares can seem random, because the system is still seeking resolution from an old, interrupted signal. Then there's the marketing trap of boost your immunity smoothies, gummies, detoxes, and powders. Most of these are gimmicks because they completely ignore context. The question isn't how can I boost immunity? The real question is, what is my immune system responding to, and does it need support, resolution, or re-education? Modulation, not boosting or blocking, is the only sustainable approach. Modulation means helping the immune system become more intelligent. It's the art of restoring sensitivity to the right signals while downregulating unnecessary reactions. This might look like improving gut-liver communication so immune tolerance is rebuilt, lowering oxidative stress through mitochondrial repair to calm redox signaling, using polyphenols like quercetin to quiet mast cells, not suppress immunity wholesale, supporting vagal tone to re-regulate immune set points through the nervous system. Each of these are forms of intelligent modulation. They don't shout louder, they help the immune system listen better. And that's the biggest shift we need to make. Your immune system doesn't need to be silenced, and it doesn't need to be hyped up like it's going into battle. It needs clarity, it needs coordination, and it needs us to stop overriding its signals and start interpreting them. So if boosting and blocking the immune system both miss the mark, what does work? The answer isn't a single tactic or supplement. It's about rebuilding the terrain your immune system listens to. And to do that, we need a system-wide approach. Let's walk through how the compass helps you support an overwhelmed immune system strategically and sustainably. We've all been taught to think of the immune system as something you turn on or off. But biology doesn't work like a light switch. It works like an ecosystem. When the immune system is overreacting, it's not broken, it's responding to something in the terrain that feels unstable, unsafe, or unfamiliar. That's where the compass comes in. Each domain of the metabolic compass plays a role in shaping the environment your immune system responds to. When the terrain is inflamed, underfueled, or dysregulated, the immune system acts out. But when you repair the conditions it's sensing from, the system calms, not because you forced it to, but because it feels safe to. Let's start with nurture, the domain most directly tied to immune regulation. Here, your gut, liver, and immune system form a triangular alliance. When gut barrier integrity is compromised through stress, diet, toxins, or infections, you get leakiness that allows undigested food particles, bacteria, and antigens to leak into circulation. Your immune system interprets these as foreign invaders, even though they're not. This is where butyrate, especially Biomend, a bioavailable form of L-lysine butyrate, plays a starring role. Butyrate fuels colonocytes, seals tight junctions, and directly influences regulatory T cell function to promote tolerance rather than attack it. Zinc carnosine helps rebuild the mucosal lining and reduce inflammation in the gut, while serum-derived immunoglobulins like immunolin can bind and neutralize microbial antigens, essentially removing the static before it becomes a fire. Layer in circadian scaffolding, sunlight in the morning, screen dimming at night, and now you're not just supporting your gut, you're teaching your immune system when to be alert and when to stand down. Next, Energize, where mitochondria do far more than power your cells. They're actually central regulators of immune function. When mitochondria are dysfunctional, your immune system loses its off switch. It can't resolve inflammation efficiently, and oxidative stress keeps the signal turned on. This is where NAD+ precursors like NMN or NMNH come in, supporting mitochondrial repair and stress resilience. Add in alpha-lipoic acid, CoQ10, and magnesium, and you're restoring redox balance, the internal seesaw that governs whether your immune cells stay calm or activated. Then we move to withdrawal, the domain of cellular cleanup and clarity. Here, polyphenols like EGCG from green tea or curcumin from turmeric help quiet overreactive immune responses by modulating NF-κB signaling, mast cell activation, and cytokine expression. These compounds don't suppress the immune system, they teach it how to respond with more precision and less panic. Finally, strengthen, where resilience becomes reality. Your immune system needs micronutrients to function optimally, especially vitamin D, magnesium, and selenium. These act like software updates, improving immune cell communication, reducing inappropriate inflammation, and restoring antiviral readiness. Gentle strength training can also help by promoting lymphatic flow, increasing mitochondrial density, and upregulating autophagy, your body's internal garbage disposal. This reduces cellular clutter that can otherwise trigger immune overreaction. So when we talk about immune support, we're not talking about quick fixes or symptom suppressors. We're talking about recalibrating the systems around the immune system so it no longer feels like it's under siege. This is what the compass was built for, not just to tell you what to take, but to help you understand why your system is responding the way it is and how to reset that response from the ground up. And if you're wondering which of these domains is most disrupted in your biology, well, that's exactly what we'll help you find next. Here's the most important truth I hope you take away from this episode. Your immune system isn't malfunctioning, it's responding to chaos. Whether that chaos is coming from your gut, your mitochondria, your nervous system, or your environment, your immune system is doing the best it can with the information it's getting. Inflammation, flares, allergies, joint pain, and fatigue aren't random. They're signals. But those signals aren't always being interpreted in context. And that's where most people and most protocols go wrong. We chase immune suppressants or immune boosters without ever asking, what terrain is this system responding to? Recovery doesn't begin when you suppress symptoms. Recovery begins when you work with your immune system, not against it. When you calm the static, when you restore the rhythm, when you reduce the burden of misinformation your body has been trying to decode. So here's your next step. Go to the metaboliccompass.com/quiz and take the free Compass Drift Quiz. In just a few minutes, you'll find out if your immune system is the output of another deeper disruption or the origin of the drift. And once you know your primary domain, you'll get a 2-week reset mapped to your body's current state, not someone else's symptom list. Because healing isn't about copying protocols. It's about restoring your system's clarity and moving forward from the right starting point. And speaking of systems that deserve more clarity, our next episode is a big one. In episode 34, we're diving into the Compass approach to women's health, hormones, and cycles, why so many plans fail to honor female physiology, and how you can finally sync with your biology instead of fighting it. From hormone patterns to burnout cycles, this episode is all about respecting the rhythm that makes female health unique and powerful. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next episode. You've been listening to the Metabolic Compass podcast, where we bridge cutting-edge science with real-life application to help you reclaim your health one directional shift at a time. To learn more, visit us at www.themetaboliccompass.com or follow us on Instagram and TikTok at The Metabolic Compass. And if you haven't already, leave a review. It helps others find their way back to alignment too. Recalibrate your biology, rediscover your direction.